Sukha Dukha Punya Apanya. If someone can follow these four principles, you can understand, I'm sure, that you can be happy, that there will be calmness in mind, and you can be better off in many things in life. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has said that everything that you need to do. In fact, that's the summary of the balance that we talk about. The eating, sleeping, your work, everything should be moderate. Don't stress. Remain within limit and make sure that you are giving part of you to everything, all the cost.
Business leader, author, and a yoga proponent. Our guest today on the Settle or Be Better podcast is Mr. Gautaam Bora, who's going to be talking to us about purpose, attaining healthy success, and a balanced life. So welcome, Mr. Gautaam, and over to you. Why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about your personal health and well-being story and your current work?
Thanks, Sakshi, and thanks for quick and perfect introduction. Talking about, let me start with the professional journey, because I guess that's the whatever I do apart from the professional journey, that's the core of everything that I do. In fact, while talking about that, I always remember a story that has happened to me while I was in my school. That time, I'm sure you must have also written, there used to be one common essay that we need to write, your aim in life. I was in my 9th standard, then that's what I selected to write, and I have written so many things. In fact, instead of writing about one profession, which most of the people do, that people say that I want to become a doctor, I want to become an engineer, and so forth. But I write about what I want to do for humanity. It's not about a job. I didn't write about a job, and I didn't write about that I want to take up particular profession. So I created different blogs, writing that the end objective, that one I wanted to say that I want to help the people. That was quite a task even for my teachers to evaluate, because that was written differently. Well, they have given me the full marks because saying that this is a quite off the track kind of thing that you are talking about. And so little did I imagine that time that actually in my life also I'll be doing so many things which will help me to achieve that objective. I have started my professional thing, if I talk about. So I worked in different places, starting from Industry Ministry, Government of India. I worked there as an assistant director, and that was a time when India was after liberalization in 2000, when India was trying to really get a lot out from the organization public sector. So I was involved in many of those projects, and then I joined in Reliance when Reliance started off Reliance Infocomm, that one that started off the DMA technology in India. Later I moved to Vodafone, worked there for quite a long time, worked in different roles, and I joined as a country head for quality or service assurance, and I worked as the deployment lead for business transformation. And then I had again work in a next role. I changed to vice president of business transformation. So while that talks about that I don't want to get much into detail. That pretty much summarizes about my professional journey. And currently I work as a global director for Oxford University Climate Alumni Network. So that pretty much summarizes the professional journey. Talking about apart from that, that's one line, one stream that I was following. So apart from that, in fact, I realized that I'll tell a little later. There are certain things that has happened in my life. So at the same time, apart from my writing career, my 2 books got published. So that's another stream. First book was published by Bloomsbury, called Monetizing Innovation. The foreword was written by Oxford Head of Innovation, Mark Mantriska, and launched by Dr. Harshvardhan, who was Science and Technology Minister of Government. My latest book, which is Nalanda, was published about a year back and launched by Ruskin Bond. So that's stream 2. Stream 3 is while these things are going on, I realized, and in fact, there are a few things that have happened in my life which were kind of eye-opener for me. I realized the importance of fitness. So what is fitness? I'm sure that we'll be talking about a little later. So my third thing is, which is in fact not a parallel stream, I say base of everything. Whatever I have tried to contribute in my professional journey as an author, like in the field of yoga, the base of that is the fitness. Because whatever you say, whatever you do in your life, unless you are fit and unless physically, mentally, spiritually, from societal perspective, environmental perspective, you can't achieve the things. You can achieve things in short term. But if you're talking of long term, the things will start falling up. So my learning here that I have come to realize that life is not about just creating milestones. It is impact that we create for the society at the professional level, and at the same time what you are doing for the society, how much you are giving back to the society, and also at the same time how much legacy that you are able to create.
Absolutely, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, and we are so grateful to have you on the podcast today. I'm sure there's so much to talk about. I mean, just in the introduction call that we had, I learned so much about you, and it was brilliant. And congratulations on your huge professional success. I mean, in so many different fields and not just one aspect, but more than that, way that you've understood taking care of your health and also helping out people out there who would want to do the same is just amazing. Because a lot of people, I mean, the most common excuse people have with their health, no matter what age or what profession is, I don't have time. I don't have time to sleep. I don't have time to work out or maybe cook my meals, right? And looking at you, I'm sure all of our listeners listening to this right now probably might be doing just one job with one corporate, are looking at you and thinking that, this person has been doing so many things over the years and at the same time has been prioritizing health, and it can be very overwhelming. I mean, it definitely takes a lot of mindset work, a lot of self-work that goes years into, right? And that's when you achieve this. And many times people don't find the time as well to just sit with themselves and to assess where they are at life, because just one job in itself or one project can be very overwhelming, that at that time you don't want to do anything. Then just in your free time you would just maybe want to try to sleep or think of the next day what work is pending and what not, right? So how did you work around that? Like, how did you sort of work around not being consumed by the work that you're doing? Because the work you were doing was very important, and at the same time I'm sure it was very fulfilling professionally as well as, and you were also probably fulfilling the purpose that you had as a child as well, that you would want to do something for humanity, for the world, right? So it being such important work, how did you allow it to not be completely consuming and also find the time for yourself?
Absolutely. In fact, Sakshi, whatever you have said, that is perfect. Most of the time, many people that you would find there's an excuse always. Also, there is a joke. I'm sure you always get that when any year start of the year. That I see that very often. Photograph of a gym on the 1st or 2nd of January, and after 1 week, after 1st or 2nd of January, you'll find all people thronging to the gym trying to do something, and it becomes empty after some time. Now, coming back to your question, how do you make sure that you deliver professionally, but at the same time you are not consumed by the world? I say that's very, very important. In fact, so it is all about. I always like to give this example. If you talk about the medieval times, around 1500, around 1200 till about 1600, those years, about 400 to 500 years, when the people were traveling in the sea, most of the times they didn't have the compass or they didn't have any navigational tool. What they used to depend on the pole star, the North Star, because the North Star does not change the position. So once you know that, yes, that's the North Star and that's my reference, and based on that, this is the direction that I need to take. Once you know your direction, once you are clear on what you want to achieve in your life, then these things actually fall in place. Most of the time, it is we need to set certain rules or the ground rules for ourselves, and obviously sometimes that ground rules comes from your experience in life. There are many people who are genetically blessed with very well health they maintain even without doing anything. You'll find that they are disease free. They don't have any problem. But most of the people in the corporate, you'll find they suffer from many lifestyle diseases, either hypertension or back pain, diabetes, and all those kind of problems. Just I'll quote one study by Deloitte just about a year back, and that study was to find out the mental health issues of the corporate India. And you would be surprised that there are 80% of the people in the corporate India, they suffer from mental health problems. Either they have got stress related with the workplace, they have got stress related with their job, they have got stress related with relationship, many. Unless you take care of these things, I always say that either you spend money in your fitness or you give double the money to the doctor.
Exactly.
Later, not now you are enjoying, and if you do not take care of it, just imagine. And all these problems, 80% of the people, if they are suffering, I can bet you pick up anyone from the corporate and you just ask them, give a list of only 4 kinds of problems: hypertension, back pain, and all those. And you'll find that most of the people are suffering. And Finally, these things give rise to your psychosomatic diseases, and your organs starts getting impacted. Now, how to take care of that? It's being conscious about that. Yes, I have to give everything to my job, but at the same time, I need to take care of myself, because whatever the harsh truth about a corporate is, if you are useful, you are valuable, and the day you become sick, you have a problem. Yes, company would pay for the best of the hospital, but you would be replaced probably in 1 week, even maybe in some companies, and it would be less than that. Once you can put that realization at your back of the mind, I think you'd start actually spending time. You should never take things in a lighter way. Never take life for granted. Anything can happen to anyone at any moment. So once you realize that, and keeping that realization, making sure that this is my North Star, and this is what I'm trying to achieve. This is my professional thing. Or if I want to achieve professional, if I want to play Test cricket, not T20, then I really need to work on my fitness.
That's beautifully explained, and I hope that people start realizing it sooner than later, because like you said, if you're not investing in your health right now, it's going to be double the amount, even triple later on when it's too late, right? So
Absolutely.
that is very well explained. And also I think it sort of depends on the person's idea of fulfillment, because I'm sure that as a concept you must have also heard people around you talk about very often, because when it comes to professional success, somewhere or the other it's financial, because there's designation, there's doing work, there's recognition, but somewhere or the other there's finances involved. And when that is the only focus in your life, it's never enough, right? I mean, you get the post you want, you get the money you want, but you almost find more ways to spend it, and then you need more, and you are in this cycle, right? And if you don't know what your idea of fulfillment is, you probably will never know when you've achieved it. So how do you think can one person know, how can one person find fulfillment? I know that's a very vague question, but that's definitely a question we all face with any other day, right? And it's something we probably think about while sleeping. What is your idea of it? And because you study yoga, you've studied ancient wisdom and so much more, so from that perspective, how do you think can one achieve fulfillment in life?
Look, again, let me share a story which is from a couple of years back. I had visited this place on a trip. It was my personal trip, and it was a calm and quiet small place. It was in a mountain. It was a small valley, and it was a village. I stayed there for some time, and one of the person from that village, he has become friendly with me, and because I spent quite almost 2 weeks there, and one day he asked me that, can you give me some 20 rupees or 30 rupees, something like that. I said, why do you need the money? He said, first of all, I have a daughter at home, and today I don't have anything to feed her, and she's about 8 or 9 years or something like that. I said, fine, not a problem. He asked me for some 20, 30 rupees. I have given him 100 rupees. And my question to him was, tell me, and today I have given you 100 rupees. Maybe tomorrow you'll get another 50 rupees from someone. What do you think what will happen to you after, say, 1 week, maybe after a month or after a year? Because you have a daughter who is in a grown-up stage, you need to feed her education. And he said, do you know how I'm going to take care of that? And I was quite curious. He said, God is going to take care. When you talk about a fulfillment, it is like how you define that. And that person, he has defined his fulfillment in that way, that simple living. Even if I earn some money by some way for my day living, I am perfect with that. Most of the time in our case, you get into especially for the people who are in the corporate, you get into a trap. You join in a job, then you start getting into the trap of the EMIs. Then for doing that, you have to work harder, and you not only your job. These people talk about the side hustle. And now, where is your time and where is your fulfillment?
Exactly.
Now, so you are just running. So again, the same thing. You need to understand that there is no end to that. Again, I remember another story. This story is attributed to Henry Ford. So it may be for anyone. So the learning is more important than the person. So Henry Ford, when he started, then after a couple of years, after 15, 20 years, he became the richest person in the US and probably in the world itself. There was a guy who used to maintain a small shop in front of his factory. So one day, while he was coming out, when he was the richest person in the world, he told this guy, why don't you start something better than what you were doing? The last 20 years, I can see that you were sitting in the same shop, and even you have the same product. Then this guy asked him, then what happened? He said, then finally you can expand your shop. Today you have your shop in one place, tomorrow you can have in many other places. And he said, then what? He said, then you can become richer like me. He said, then what? He said, then you can relax. And the person replied, what do you think that I am doing now? Do I really do so much? Do I really need to put so much effort? And I need to spend so much, earn so much money to relax? I'm relaxing now. So again, the same thing, the fulfillment, most of the time we think it's a destination. It is not a destination. Fulfillment is about living in the moment, trying to get the pleasure, trying to get the thing, extracting the best from that moment, getting the pleasure out of that, helping people and living at that moment. That is fulfillment. But most of the time we try to link fulfillment with the materialistic gain. Like for example, how big your car is, how big your house is. Once people can step out of that, start enjoying the moment, I guess that's how you can achieve fulfillment.
Absolutely. That was really true. I mean, if you cannot be happy with what you have right now, maybe when you get what you want right now, I don't know if you will still find happiness or be fulfilled at that.
Don't make a changing game.
Exactly.
Start enjoying every moment.
Absolutely. That was beautifully explained. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so talking about that, having this balance in life is very important, right? Because you need to have a good balance in life where you feel fulfilled at work, you feel like you've been recognized, the work you're doing is important, and at the same time having a good state of physical health and mental health, right? So today, what is your understanding of a balanced life?
That's a great question, Sakshi. In fact, most of the question that you are asking me, it is taking me back in my memory lane. I'm remembering one story again. It's not a story, in fact, that is something that happened in my life. So while I was working as I mentioned earlier, I used to work for under Industry Ministry, Government of India, and that was a time I was handling one very critical project for one of the public sectors. And so what happened, my grandma was not doing well. And the job there were certain critical milestones that I was supposed to achieve. I was supposed to deliver. And I thought, okay, I'll go there and I'll come back. And when I thought probably it was about 300-400 kilometers. I had to take a train and I had to go there. And I went there on the day when I was back. After 2 days, my grandma passed away. And that was the day I have realized that for what that I need to deliver in that way. How do I really? So in fact, I lost something while I was trying to gain something professionally. This part was totally missing. And that was the day that I realized that I really need to create the balance in my professional life. It's not one piece of the pie, it is a 360-degree circle. And you have got different pieces and you try to keep that in a balanced way.
Right.
Same time, we need to remember that balance is not about saying, okay, I spend 2 hours or say 10 hours for my company, 3 hours for my home. It's not in that way. It's about finding the harmony between everything that you do. It's like a machine. So sometimes, depending on the input, the machine run faster, sometimes run slower, sometimes moderate. So it is about finding the right harmony so that your life becomes the wheel of life. It runs or it goes in a smoother way. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, I like that in chapter 6, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has said that everything that you need to do. In fact, that's the summary of the balance that we talk about. That everything that we do, the eating, sleeping, your work, everything should be moderate. Don't stress. Remain within limit and make sure that you are giving part of you to everything, all the cost.
Absolutely. That makes so much sense. And that was really beautifully explained because that is something that lacks in a lot of people's lives today. So I hope that helps our audience right now listening to this, because we tend to major in the minors.
Yeah.
And we try to control one thing in our life, even when it comes to health, because you just take one thing like we need to have more protein. So every day would be you'll be thinking around more protein, and everything else probably is not working out. So we really major in the minors today and think too much, or you read up too much research about just one thing, and it totally consumes us, and we forget that balance that we need to have in our life, right? So, and like you said, it needs to be in harmony.
Yeah, as I said, consider that as a life is like a circle. It's a wheel of life, and you have got different parts. Like you have got part for a family, your part for your office, part for your health, and once all these are balanced, balance is the right proportion. Sometimes say 1:3:2, sometimes say 3:4:5, whatever. Then the wheel would learn in a proper way. Otherwise, you are out of sync.
Absolutely, that makes so much sense. Thank you for sharing that. And you talk a lot about your yoga journey through your videos and all your work. So tell us a little bit more about your work in your yoga journey and how it has helped you. And for how many years have you been, practicing yoga and studying about it?
That's in fact, again, that I have to say, it was my last year of engineering, and so I had a big problem in terms of the health, and I had to be hospitalized, and I was in coma for about 2 nights. And so while that was a couple of years back during my last year of engineering, and in spite of that means I was probably 21, 22 years, and because that was a pretty young age and I could come out well, but I lost my 1 year in the engineering because I could not appear in the exam. And that was the time I realized, while my general health was okay, I realized that I really need to have more focus on the health. And if I need to create a list of my priorities in my life, then I need to put first to fifth. It should be only health. Then the question was that how do I do that? After that, I had gone into an ashram and stayed there for 3 months to learn it. And it was an ashram which was established by Shivanand Saraswati, which is who is known as one of the I would say most revered yoga proponent in the country. So he established that ashram almost 150 years back. I stayed there. That was my first tryst with yoga. I learned classical yoga in terms of, when you say yoga, most of the time people think that it is about the asanas, but they taught everything, all other components, like how do you make a contribution to the society, or how you can maintain individual discipline, everything together. So that was my first tryst with yoga. Then I started practicing. Then after a couple of years, again I started learning from different people. I learned transcendental meditation from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. I have been practicing that for almost 2 decades. In fact, then many other yoga certification I have done, like even last year I did one certification. There are government certification, but certification is one part, because that's just to test and put the things together in a structured way. Apart from that, I stayed in different ashrams, stayed with the monks, and learned lots of classical yoga systems, ancient, which have been passed on to them not by the books, by the traditions. I learned many from the monks, and at the same time I have also learned from the teachers of modern or contemporary time. Maybe they are practicing now, from learning from different universities. I have got yoga input from different sources, both the classical and at the same time the modern. And also apart from that, I have been teaching people, and this is because being in a day job, I can't really create was difficult for me to create some class or whatever, but informally I have been teaching to probably many thousands of people. I have taught different parts of yoga, asanas, pranayams, meditation, and I must say that this is one thing that one must. It is not too late. Even someone in their 20s, in teens, or someone in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, age do not matter. If you really want a life which is fulfilled, balanced, I'm coming back to the question that you have asked. So yoga is the answer. I put it in.
Absolutely, that's amazing. And do you also plan to offer any courses or something in the future?
Yeah, there is. In fact, I have an organization where I was not able to put much effort. The whole idea is to do research and practice an Indian knowledge system, which is Vedas and yoga and everything combined together. And very soon I have a plan to start some courses, but it is not like a yoga. I want to use yoga for 3 purposes. One is for your individual benefit, societal benefit, and the benefit to the environment. So it will be just a tool. It's like you have a gun, so there is no point like shooting the gun randomly, right? Then you should use the gun for killing something, whatever. I'm not talking about humans. Say like to or save yourself. That's the purpose. So what I want to, through this organization, I want to use yoga to solve problems at these 3 levels: individual, societal, and environment.
Amazing, that's beautiful, and we look forward to it. There'll be links in the description below. People can reach out to you, learn a lot more from you, and stay more connected through your journey ahead. And definitely they'll be the ones to get in touch with you and work with you sometime in the future. They'll find the link in the description below. So thank you for sharing that with us. And it's just beautiful to see someone who has taken out time of their life, dedicated the time many times in your life to stop, pause, and learn and educate yourself about so many different things. Because today, most of us stop learning after we've left college. I mean, after we started working, we are just consumed by the next position, next promotion, or maybe the next trip or something like that. But to really stop and pause a little bit to educate yourself, go back to your school days, or do something of that sorts can be amazing in so many ways, even for your brain, right? I mean, that's just amazing. So kudos to you for doing that and for helping people to do the same as well.
Thank you, Sakshi.
And because you've lived this really amazing life and whatever you've shared with us professionally and personally, tell us what are some small habits that have stayed with you throughout the years that you don't miss out on doing every day.
Yeah, there are some non-negotiables for me, definitely. So one is I always start my day with yoga. I am up around 5:15. I spend asana, pranayam all combined together. I spend about say half an hour, 45 minutes. Then I start my day with reading one verse from the Gita always. And then once I complete that, I go to the gym and spend about 1.5 hours in the gym. So these are non-negotiable. Then meditation. For decluttering, I do one round of meditation just before going to the sleep. And during the daytime, if I'm in office, it becomes difficult, but I try to do one small round of meditation during the day and if possible in the morning. But the night meditation that helps me to clutter, I always do. So these are some of the things are totally non-negotiable.
Amazing, and they seem like really easy to add to your routine as well. Maybe for the listeners, if it's not possible for an hour or two, they can definitely accommodate it in their routine. However they can do it for a few minutes. Start with a few minutes because small things go a long way, and you'll start
Consistency is the key.
fulfilled. Yeah, absolutely. And I think today we are so used to the mindset of all or nothing. I mean, even I'm really having a hard time, adjusting around that. I'm learning my way, and I've seen so many of my friends, especially like gym goers, in terms of working out, are used to really workouts. Like they need to feel that sweat, and if they have just 15 minutes for that day, they are late to go somewhere. They will just skip the workout, and rather than going for a little bit. So I think we need to really manage our day accordingly and do whatever we can instead of doing nothing at all, because we are so used to that.
Absolutely, very well. In fact, I always lead by, there is a verse from the Gita, I always like to quote that, Karmenya adhikarasya ma phalesu kadachana. So keep doing your job. Don't think that what's going to happen. The result it will fall in place. Just keep on putting your efforts. That's point.
So, I've seen you talk a lot about ancient wisdom, ancient literature, and you're studying it. And I think your coming book is also around the same, right? To talk about that a little bit is what has been your learnings from the ancient literature regards to our discussion today.
When you talk about the Indian knowledge system, it's like a vast ocean. It's even more than that. And picking up or talking about certain things that people should use, it's quite difficult. But still, if I look back at my life, I can pick up certain things which has been helping me to really do well, both professionally in terms of the other thing that I do. There are a few things or principles which have been helping me quite a lot, and I would like to share a few of that. So one is, it says, it's from the Bhagavad Gita, and chapter 2, it says, Siddha Siddhayo Samabhutva Samatvam Yoga Uccha. That means whether you are getting the success or failure, don't bother about that. Keep on doing your work. This is here I can quote the example of, say, you are sailing in a ship in the sea, but there is no guarantee that you will get a smooth sailing. There will be storm, there will be waves hitting you, there are many other problems. So instead of thinking and bothering about why these things are happening to me, so you should focus and you should keep at the back of your mind that yes, I am sailing in the sea and I would have this problem and I'll deal with that problem. That's a beautiful learning. So same thing for life. You can translate that into your life. Second one is, it says, Tasmat Yogaya Yudasya Yoga Karmasu Kosha. That means putting the best in your job. That is yoga. Again, here I'll take the example of a doctor who is operating on a patient. And while he is operating on a patient, he is not bothered about whether the person operating table is an ordinary person, someone who is a VIP or whatever. It does not matter to him. He's only focused on his job. So that is about the excellence. And one more thing which I have quoted earlier, that Karmenya Adhikarasya, just keep on doing your job. Another thing that which has been guiding me, and I thought that I should share, people should know about that, is from Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. So it goes as Maitri Karuna Mudita Upeksha Sukha Dukha Punya Apanya Vishayana Bhavana Chitta Prasada. That means, I'll explain this a bit, because I can assure you, if someone can really follow that, you never get into a trap of stress, anxiety, and you'll lead a happy life. So it says, Maitri Karuna Mudita Apeksha Sukha Dukha Punya Apanya. It says how you should behave in the situation, Dukh, Punya and Apanya. Sukh. Like, let's take that example. Means you are in a happy situation. Then Maitri. Then you should be friendly. You should, if you see a person who is very happy, like one person you are saying that he is rich or whatever, instead of thinking that why this guy is rich, he has done lots of corruption or whatever, you should try to feel good about that person is doing something. The second one is Dukh. This sutra says that Karuna is related to that. If you see a situation, the person is not well, or there is some problem with him, so many times we get tempted to show pity to him. So it says that be compassionate. If the person is sad or he has got some problem, so make sure that show compassion instead of showing the pity. And the third one is Mudita, and it says Punya. That's related with Punya. That means it says if you see some virtuous people, the people who are doing good for the society, feel delight about them and support them. And the fourth is very important. That's what we miss, and we try to get, I would say, impacted by everyone and anyone. So it says, but if you know that this person is toxic or wicked, then just do the upeksha, means ignore him. So this is such a beautiful verse. Sukh Maitri Karuna Mudita Upeksha Sukha Dukha Punya Apanya. This, in fact, and that creates, and if someone can follow these 4 principles, you can understand, I'm sure, that you can be happy, that there will be calmness in mind, and you can be better off in many things in your life.
Absolutely, that makes so much sense, especially the last point, because we very easily, we are ready, in a few seconds to put the blame of our current situation on somebody else. We're always talking in terms of this person is doing this, this situation is doing this to me. We are always putting the blame outside us, and it sort of puts us in a negative chain of thoughts always, right? So this is so interesting. This brings us to the end of the episode today. As we conclude, do you have any last messages or thoughts to leave us with?
I would say, in fact, I can put that as the last thought, that karmenda adhikar is the mahafalesa kadacha. So keep doing, and don't think that what will happen, because life is anyway unpredictable. You cannot predict. Just keep on putting your efforts, keep on doing your job, and result is going to fall.
Absolutely. It's an amazing message. Thank you for sharing that with us. And do you want to leave us with any way to contact you, or maybe why should people contact you, and what should they look forward to you, like whatever work that's coming up in the rest of the year?
So there are 2 places to connect with me. One is, obviously, I am quite active in Instagram. That's where I guess you also connected me with. I am quite active in the DM. That's one place that people can connect with me. And I am quite active in LinkedIn as well. So people who are into this professional platform, they can contact me in LinkedIn as well. So these are 2 places where I'm quite active.
Perfect. Sounds good. I hope that our audience do take out the time and look at your work. And I'm definitely looking forward to reading your book, Nalanda, because it sounds so interesting. So I hope the readers do too. Thank you so much once again for being here today. It was an amazing episode. We're so grateful to have you here.
Thank you, Sakshi, and thank you, everyone. Thank you.